Whew. Hello, Angela here again. And my intention today is to attempt to answer Alex Chikorita's question in how to enjoy day to day living and with what's going on with the COVID 19 virus and stress thoughts and the worry about when everything will return to normal. Um, Short answer is I have no clue. And what is normal anyway? So my okay, I'm going to attempt to answer, maybe not in the way that you're expecting here. In that, yeah, I could as an NLP practitioner give you heaps of techniques and strategies, and I've done that. I've done that before, given techniques, which I probably will do still. And relaxation techniques, and but I'd really like to point you into something much deeper, which is really simple, but that we forget. There's a metaphor, like, okay, we've all been children. We're all kids someday, or even now. There's a metaphor I heard which is quite reminds me of times I've been scared in the past, as a kid or even when I was older, where I've woken up on my own in the night and I've seen a shadow and thought there was somebody in the bedroom with me, and really got scared, like lying there under the covers and thinking, oh my God, there's somebody here, they're going to kill me or they're going to rob me. And it seems so real. And in that moment, my heart's pounding, my hands are sweaty, it feels like my heart's coming out of my chest. The panic sets in until the moment I realise, actually, it's a lamp. it's a lamp. It's not a robber. It's not somebody out to kill me. And in that moment, all my stress just melts away. So I'm sure you can remember times yourself. You don't have to do anything to make that stress go away. Once you see it for what it really is, you don't have to do anything to stop yourself feeling stressful. It just happens automatically. That's what I'm sort of pointing to here, in that I keep looking at the news and keep hearing the reports and everything that's going on, and I'm very interested in what's going on in the UK, because I've got my daughter and I've got 2 grandchildren there and family there. But I'm also interested in Thailand, because I've got my son and daughter-in-law and family living in Thailand and in Bangkok. And then I'm here in Australia, in Queensland, and obviously I've got friends here. And so I can get a little bit lost in worrying thoughts. That's why I do what I do, because my mum called me a born worrier as a kid. I mastered worrying, could worry about anything. I don't do that now, not usually. And when I do fall down a train of thought, what tends to happen now is I realise it sooner, and as soon as I realise it, it's a bit like realising that lamp in the room, and I start to feel better almost immediately. So how do I do that? I'm not different to you. We're all the same. We're all the same. It's just that we have different ways of seeing the world. And with the coronavirus, there are people who, we've seen it in the supermarkets, and people fighting for toilet rolls. It seems ridiculous, but people go into that primitive mode where they're in survival mode. It's like the primitive brain kicks in, and it's all about surviving. They can't help doing what they do. It's just the way they are living. It's where they are being in the world at this moment in time. Then there's the other people who still have some views on it, thinking, it's not as bad as what people are saying. It's not that many dying. Most people are just getting a bit of a sniffle and they're okay. It's only a real tiny minority. But they're both the same, really, because they're both coming from an idea that something outside, in this case the coronavirus. Hi Isabel, hello Simon. The coronavirus is out there, and it's something that's threatening us, and that we should be aware of it and deal with it. And then, so that's part of the equation. And then there's the other part of the question is about surviving day to day in isolation and waiting for things to return to normal. And so within those words, there's some thinking that when things return to normal, then we'll all get back to normal and the world will be fine. But we all know that's not true, because there was lots of problems before the coronavirus, and there's going to be lots of problems after the coronavirus. So what is normal? And I can't answer these questions. I have no idea what the future holds. I've no idea what the next hour holds, even the next minute. But what I do know for sure is that right now in this moment, I'm okay. And you're okay. And the only time I can feel bad, and you can feel bad, is when we've got thoughts in our mind that we're paying attention to that are telling us that things are not okay. And it might seem simple. I'm sat in my room here and I've not got family who are dying from coronavirus or other things. I've not got family who are really ill who I can't get to see. I haven't got family who have died recently with coronavirus or other things where I can't be with them. I haven't got any of that going on, but I do know I have had my own challenges in the past, and I know that you have, and there's something within us that keeps us going. You know, we have survived. We're here now, and our ancestors survived. You know, otherwise we wouldn't be here, and we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. So there's something within us that survived. So we have the strength within us, we have the resilience within us to survive and to cope and to do whatever's necessary in the moment. And the interesting thing is, I always find this really interesting, is that when we're truly in danger, our minds are quiet. There's not a heap of thinking going on. I know I've never had to fight a tiger. I'm watching Tiger King at the moment, but I've never had to fight a tiger. But our brain doesn't know the difference between what's there, the danger in the moment, and a perceived danger. So I remember being in a car accident when my son was like 5 weeks old, and he was in the back of the car, and this car came out from a side street in front of us. And in those, it must have been seconds, but it seemed an eternity. Everything slowed down. It seemed like an eternity in my mind. There was no thinking. It was just there. It was just quiet. It was actually peaceful until we hit the car. Bang. And then my mind filled up again. And when we're truly in danger, that's what tends to happen. And in those moments, in that space, in that quietness, we're okay. And that's what I'm pointing to, is that all the noise comes from it's like thought being generated in the moment that we're paying attention to, like we're creating a movie, moment by moment. It's through our mind generating it, and it's in front of us. And so we are the producer, the director, the actor or actress with the special effects team. We're creating it moment by moment. And I'm not saying this stuff's not happening. Of course it's happening. But how we relate to it depends on the thoughts we're paying attention to in each moment. So we're not scared or worried 24 hours, 24 minutes, every second of every day. Only when it's on our mind, only when we're thinking about it. So, you know, ask yourself, if you're feeling stressed and you've got all that stressful physiology going on, ask yourself, where's my experience coming from? It's never coming from outside. It's coming from our thinking about what's going on outside. Now, I've done a lot of courses and training, and I'm human like everybody else, and I get stuck and I get lost in my thinking, but I'm not giving you the answers, I'm pointing you in a direction. And I never remember her name, but I did a course with Jamie Smart, and he mentions this lady, this beautiful woman who was in Nepal when the earthquake occurred, and she'd been reading Jamie Smart's book, Results, and she'd read that literally that she was experiencing thought taking form in the moment, and she was terrified. There'd been this major earthquake, and then she was quietly waiting for more earth tremors to occur, and then she suddenly remembered the line in this book that she was okay, even though all this was going on around her, even if physically she was in danger, which she truly was physically in danger, but she knew underneath all that she truly was okay. And she calmed down. And so that's what I'm pointing to. None of us know how long we're here for, but there's a spark within us all that doesn't die. It's there, it's within us from the moment we're conceived. It's there, it's that spark. It's where everything comes from. It's where, those moments when you think you're never going to get through something, and then you do. It's there with you. It's like the wisdom inside of you. And that sounds really woo-woo, but I know this to be true. It's like the connection that I have with you, with my children, is much, much deeper than this world. And okay, I'm going to share it with you. It might help you to again point to where I'm going to with this, but I moved to Australia in 2006, and I had worries and stresses, and I felt guilty and about leaving my children behind, although they were adults, they were living their own life, but still are. But I still had a lot of thinking, a lot of noise in my head, and I was already a hypnotherapist, and I had a friend who was specialising in past life regression. Now, as a hypnotist, who knows whether we've had past lives? I have no idea. It could be just a metaphor that the mind comes up with things. What I did was I was hypnotised. I had a few lives, and I ended up on the Endeavour ship a few times and died on that ship a few times. But what was interesting was my family was sort of all around me in different roles. So I remember Adam being my brother once. He was my brother. I don't know. I knew he was my son, but he was my brother. And same with my daughter and my husband and other members of the family. We're sort of all intermingled, having different roles, but I knew that sense of connection, that deep love was still there. And so after these sessions, what I came out with back then was it didn't matter where I lived in this world or the next, that connection was always there. That energy never died, and it's still alive. And I then sensed it when my brother died 3 years ago, and I still feel him around. And yeah, people can poo-poo and say, oh, it's just, you just want that. It's not true. But what if it was? What if it is? What if it is true? What if we are all the same and we're all connected to something much deeper? So when you let all that thinking go, what's left? What's underneath all that thinking? And that's where that peace comes from. That's where you can feel peaceful no matter what. Where you know that you're okay no matter what. No matter what. And we've had these moments, although we have no label for them because there are no words. Times where you're deep in thought. But not the thought it's like not lack of thought. I'm calling it deep thought, but it's like lack of thought. It's the space between thought. When you're absorbed in something, I used to think when I was out running on my own and I got into the zone that all the answers I wanted for, I don't know, how to do a presentation or something came through while I was running. And then I realised, didn't it on every run? So I wasn't accessing that space on every run. Sometimes my head was noisy with worrying about stuff. But the more I realise, when I feel uncomfortable, that it's coming from the thoughts I'm paying attention to and not what's going on the outside, in that moment of realisation, that's when my mind settles. And that's where I get a sense of peace. And so I guess I'm rambling on a little bit, but that's what I'm pointing to here. I've not given you tools, I've not given you strategies. I want you to just sort of, if you're feeling anxious, if you're worrying about not having your job, if you're worrying about how you're going to cope, if you're worrying about, when am I going to get out of this room? if you're worrying about what's going to happen in the future's not happening now. None of us knows what the future holds. And you know what? I like to visualize a better future. One where we all feel more and more connected. Maybe not physically, but that deep sense of connection. So when we can feel that, we can feel that love within us, and we can be more accepting. And we can come from a place of kindness and understanding that everyone's doing the best they can. You know, the people in the supermarket who are emptying the shelves, they can't be any different because they've gone into that prime I can't even see the word now, primal survival thinking mode. They've got it, they can't help that. You know, everybody's doing the best they can. People who get frustrated, who get angry, who are annoyed, that right then they're just lost. And the more we see that, we can step back and see the bigger picture. It brings things back down to something much deeper. Maybe we are awakening to something much deeper, letting go of our thinking and awakening. Maybe we're all asleep to some level and we're all waking up to a better world. Let's hope so, eh? So I hope, Alex, I've pointed in that direction that's helped you reassess what I know that you know. And I'll connect with you all again soon. If you have any questions in the meantime, drop me a line, send a comment here. We can continue the conversation, because this is just a tip of helping you get insight for yourself. And I know I keep going deeper and deeper. I keep getting more and more insight. And I still get lost every day. I still panic, I still stress, I still worry. And then I stop, and then I'm okay again. Have a great day and sleep well, and I'll speak to you all again soon.